Welcome to Insight, Purpose, and Perspective, the podcast where we discuss today's topics and speak with people living with purpose, guided by faith. And now, here's your host, J.L. Bumbry.
Good evening, everybody. I'm your host, J.L. Bumbry, aka Joe Bumbry. And tonight we're diving into a very fascinating and relevant topic: how technology, social media, and the digital landscape are shaping our experiences of faith, spirituality, and community. Now, this is an exciting topic because, let's face it, technology is everywhere. It affects how we communicate, work, learn, and how we experience and share our faith. So, tonight we're going to explore some of the pros and cons of this digital transformation, the ways people are connecting and building communities online, and how we can make the best use of technology to support our spiritual journeys. So, let's start with a little background. Historically, faith was something we practiced in the physical spaces: churches, temples, mosques, synagogues, and other places of worship. Community and spirituality happened face to face. But now, with the rise of digital technology, social media, and in the wake of the coronavirus, the experience of faith has expanded into the virtual world. One interesting result of this shift is the increased accessibility of spiritual resources. People who may not have had easy access to a faith community now have an entire world of resources online. But if you live in a rural area without a nearby church, or if you're housebound, for example, you can still access sermons, spiritual talks, meditation guides, and even live stream worship services. And we're also seeing a shift in how people explore spirituality in the past. You might have had to attend a service or seek out a specific religious group, but now people can explore different faith experiences with a quick search or by following inspirational accounts on social media. And that has huge implications. In fact, for younger generations who often feel disconnected from traditional institutions, social media has become a place for exploring questions about purpose, values, and identity. Influencers, faith-based bloggers, and spiritual thought leaders, excuse me, have become their guides right alongside traditional pastors, rabbis, and priests. So let's dive into some of the pros and cons of this digital faith landscape. On the plus side, technology has increased access, and that's a huge win. The internet has opened the doors for people who may have previously felt isolated or disconnected. People can access faith resources that fit their schedules, read devotionals. I know I do it myself. I have an app on my phone that I read a devotional every morning, and they can read, I can read scriptures on the go. And you have the ability to connect with communities in online spaces. We're also seeing um, some incredible platforms that allow people to ask big questions, explore doubts, and share personal experiences in a judgment free zone. But with all these positives, there are some challenges as well. For instance, digital spaces can lack the warmth and connection of in person interactions. It's easy to feel alone or to misunderstand people when all you see is text on the screen. So right now, I want to open up uh, an opportunity for anyone who is listening right now. If you want to join um, the conversation, I put a link in the description on Facebook. You can simply click on that link and join the conversation if you're interested in joining in on the dialogue. So until we get somebody to come in, I'm just going to keep going on and talking about faith in the digital world. You know, that's why it's essential for us to be intentional about how we engage with our digital communities. It's easy to treat an online community like it's just an information resource, but faith is deeply relational. So if you're joining online groups or forums, take the time to interact genuinely, support others, and build those personal connections. One question that I hear from folks is, how can I feel connected to a faith community if it's online? So let's talk about some ways people can create or enhance those connections. It starts with knowing what you're looking for. If you're hoping for spiritual companionship, look for groups or online spaces that allow for real, heartfelt exchanges, not just surface level engagement. Smaller focus groups on platforms like Discord, Zoom, or even Facebook can sometimes create more meaningful connections. And sometimes joining a live stream event like a service or a group meditation can help as well. There's a sense of being a part of a shared experience, even if you're not in the same physical space. And let's not forget apps. Like I discussed before, I've got an app right here on my phone. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, it's not. But what it is, this is called YouVersion. Every morning it gives me scripture, and they have someone come on who talks about the scripture, and down here at the bottom it has guided prayer. So this is one of the apps that I use. And there's some wonderful faith-based apps out there designed to foster community, like prayer apps where people can submit their prayer requests, share devotionals, or do group studies. These apps help us stay connected and spiritually engaged. So let's talk about staying grounded and spiritually safe online, because it can be a real challenge. We've talked about the benefits and the challenges, but let's wrap this up with some tips for staying grounded. A big one is to be selective with what you consume. There's a lot of content out there, and not all of it is helpful. The scriptures warn us about guarding our hearts and guarding our eyes and our ears with what we consume. There is so much junk on social media. And as Christians, we need to filter those things. I know a lot of times we get caught just scrolling and scrolling, and sometimes you think it's meaningless, but everything that you see and hear has an effect on you. So, follow accounts and people who inspire you, who challenge you positively, and who align with your values. It's okay to unfollow or leave spaces that don't contribute to your growth or that even feel toxic. Another tip is to limit your screen time and have intentional offline moments of spiritual practice. Spend time in silence, meditate, pray, or read, or do all of the above. Do things that bring you closer to the Most High without all of the digital noise. Remember, the digital world is a tool. However, it's not a replacement for real life connections and spiritual practices when possible. Having trouble talking again. I always struggle with that. Let me get a little water. Yeah. Try to balance your online engagement with real life community and practices. Nothing replaces the connection that you can have with people face to face. I know sometimes it can be extremely difficult to find someplace that you feel comfortable and you feel confident in. We all struggle with that. And then in today's world, we have a lot of churches that I love it when technology works. That's another thing. Technology doesn't always work the way you want it to. But like I said, you want to have real life community and spiritual practice. You want to be around people that believe what you believe, think what you think. The scriptures tell us that we should not forsake the assembly of the saints. It helps strengthen our ties. It helps strengthen ourselves, our communities, and being part of something bigger than yourself always benefits you. Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. I thought we were going to have some people who might jump on, but you know, it is what it is. But we've explored a lot about how technology, social media, and the digital landscape are shaping our faith, spirituality, and community. So there's some opportunities and some real challenges out there, but ultimately it's about how we choose to use these tools. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share with others who might find this discussion valuable. Until the next time, may your faith journey be blessed and may the hand of God be with you. See you next week. I'm coming on every Sunday then at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you next week. Peace.